Alright, we rolling.
Yes.
Welcome, old family and new family, to Cypher Scholars, the radio show that's part education, part hip hop, all culture. This is your boy Bushido Garvey, aka Brandon White, as I'm known in most teacher circles. You see how I flip that?
Yeah, it's your boy, your friend, Rob Blow on the board on the deck.
Yes. For those who don't know and need a reminder again, Cypher Scholars is part education, part hip-hop, all culture that's always local, global, and universal simultaneously. So let's go ahead. We got a busy syllabus, a really packed syllabus. First on the syllabus is...
we got climate change. What are we doing? Which one are we doing?
What we're doing, I think we're doing the college admissions.
College admissions.
Yep.
The college admission scandal.
College admission scandal.
Second on the syllabus list is the
student protests.
Student protests with climate change, and the last but not least on the list is boy Meek Mill with his honoree.
Yes, his honorary weekend and day.
Yes.
Facts. We had an informational debate earlier, so you know I stand corrected about the information, but we'll get into it though, right? So let's talk about this college admissions scandal, which has frequently been misnomered in the media as the celebrity college misnomer scandal, right?
Yep.
So the FBI recently came out to the public with an operation they've been doing for years called Operation
Varsity Blues.
Yep, Varsity Blues. The FBI was kind of petty with that one, right? It's named after that classic, year 2000 movie, year 2000-ish movie, right?
Yep.
And what they basically discovered was this huge cheating college admissions ring that was going on. Now, again, in the news, it's only mainly talking about the woman from Full House. Laughlin is her last name, and Felicity Huffman.
Lori Laughlin and Felicity Huffman.
Yep.
From
Desperate Housewives, right? Yep.
And Lori Laughlin from Full House.
Yep, Full House, and her husband Massimo, who, if there are any Burlington babies in the house or Target children that couldn't have the high fashion, you know who Massimo is. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the fly low brand name. You know what I'm saying? But again, these are rich parents, and there are only three. There's only three celebrities.
Three out of what though?
33 parents.
No.
But 50. There's 50 overall indictments. Yes,
there's 33 parents.
Yep.
And everyone else is like coaches, administrators.
Yep. And teachers who are or proctors, right?
Proctors.
Yep. So, and actually, in honor in correcting the narrative, let's talk about the other people real quick, right? Let's list out a couple of them real quick.
So
we have Robert Flaxman, Amy and Gregory Colburn, Eastin Joey Chen, Elizabeth and Manuel Enriquez, Douglas Hodge, Augustine Hunius, Bruce and Davina Isaacson, Michelle Janovis, Elizabeth Kimmel, Marjorie Clapper, William McGlashan Jr., Marcy Palatea, Peter Jan, PJ Satorio, Steven Semprevivo, David Cito, David Sloan, and many, many others. It's important to understand that we cannot just necessarily look at the celebrities, because again, the celebrities are only they're not even 5% of this list, right? Or they're barely 5% of the list. At the end of the day, celebrities frequently get used to scapegoat, because yes, they did wrong, but this is way bigger than celebritydom. These are people who are like dentists, that are in the water systems business. They're in fashion industry. They're venture capitalists. They're hedge fund managers.
Yep.
They run or control or are active in oil and gas companies. So it's very important to know that this is a rich people thing, not a celebrity person thing.
All right, so this situation, celebrity or whatever you want to call it, Operation Varsity Blues or celebrity college scandal, was headed by William Rick Singer. Actually, the FBI was watching this whole entire situation from 2011 to 2018. That's 7 years, and they found out the head of the scam was William Rick Singer. Rick being his nickname. He basically headed a sham college counseling group that went by the name of The Key.
Well, the sham college consultation group was Edge College and Career Network, but then the nonprofit organization was Key Worldwide Foundation.
Yeah, the foundation. So he had the foundation as well as this counseling group as well. So so he was finagling or finessing parents with both businesses,
both institutions. Old
right?
boy was like funneling money that the parents would pay him through Edge College and Career Network, through the Key Worldwide Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization, again using tax law to not be taxed, and then use that money to kind of do the bribery necessary for these rich folks to get what they want.
So all right, so basically these organizations was able to collect 25 million since 2011 overall. Now parents paid. Now these parents, the 33 parents that got caught up in this situation, paid between like 100,000 all the way up to 6.5 million dollars.
Yeah.
Either if they were in increments or in one setting. Those are the numbers of that. Now, like, so basically, this was to get underqualified children of these rich parents to get into college through fraudulent methods.
Can I ask a question before we even get into the methods that everybody I feel like needs to be asking?
Let's go.
How are these super hyper sourced children and parents underqualified? Think about all the brilliance that we've seen in our school districts and in our low performing dysfunctional school districts, right? And some of these students have been able to do with so little.
Yeah.
But then you basically flip on the opposite scenario for these kids. They don't got to worry about police. They don't got to worry about poverty. They don't got to worry about anything in our mainstream society saying you can't do this, right? Because you're white and you're rich.
You gotta,
right? So why on earth are you having to cheat when the deck is already stacked in your favor?
To me, I gotta look at the characteristics that is breeded when you are around money or if you're not around money. If you're oppressed, there's certain characteristics I feel like you possess. I mean, okay, let's use determination for example.
Yeah.
Now, determination, I believe, looking at the situation now, it makes me feel like it could go on two extremes now. For example, the determination to, if you was oppressed or in a disenfranchised situation, you don't have any money, etc., right? The determination would be to want to have a better life, right? To work hard and be fair and do your best to make it out of the situation, right? But when I look at situations like this with the college scandal, like the determination of the parents, right? Yeah. Their determination is a little bit different, right? Staying on top, right? Finding loopholes. I mean, like,
I feel you.
Things like that. That's how I'm looking at it, man.
Word up. That's real in terms of like what you're working hard on as opposed to working hard, right? Like because you and I know all kinds of people that work hard, right? The what they work hard on might be different from what the rich focus on, and sometimes the ethics of like the negative ethics, the poor ethics of people who are working class, middle class, and lower class income are different than the ethics. The lack of ethics that get exercised in upper class, right?
So you're like ethics, but there's two extremes to
exactly.
I mean, there's a spectrum to it. You know what I mean? So you're either gonna fall on one edge of the spectrum or on the other edge of the spectrum.
But it just bugs me out, like frequently. Not saying that any of the people on this list necessarily did it, but frequently people in this position will be like, these people are poor because they don't work hard, and crime can't be an excuse.
You hear that a lot. You hear that a lot.
But like at the end of the day, like if you need to work hard and crime can't be an excuse, you're rich and you're still committing crimes.
What is this? This is a white collar crime, blue collar crime.
This is purely white collar.
White collar crime.
You know what I'm saying? And it's so slick, son. It's so slick.
But so they use methods to get these kids in there. William Rick Singer, along with a few other people, a lot of other people, administrators, people that are able to work proctors,
right.
people that work with the SATs, ACT scores, like some colleges that were involved in this. Matter of fact, this guy Rick Singer is being charged with what? Racketeering.
Yep, and obstruction of justice.
Obstruction of justice, money laundering, conspiracy.
Oh boy, he knew, like, to your point that we were talking about earlier, he knew his audience, he knew his customers, that they wanted a guarantee. And this is again something that can be symptomatic of, I guess, of at least these rich folk, which is like they need guarantee. It's not enough that the deck is already in your favor, like the odds are immensely in your favor. You want a guarantee for your kids to get something that they haven't necessarily worked to get, to the point where you're willing to lie about tests, which again are structured in your favor, right? Like, because like with the SAT, I forgot to bring this up, the SAT and Advanced Placement AP, they were both created by eugenicists. His name was Carl Brigham. And his whole philosophy was Anglo-Saxons were smarter, and so if that's your philosophy, you're going to assess for what how Anglo-Saxons think, and set that as the bar, right? And he kind of just threw everybody else on the bus and called everybody else lower, especially black folk.
That originated
so
eugenics.
This is a test that's rigged for you to win, and you still cheating? Word. And the fact that, because in the affidavits, if you read the affidavits, which are available on New York Times and Vox, they have extras from the affidavits. When you read the affidavits, the dude breaks down like the whole system in terms of like him having spaces and spots where he has basically like moles that work for him to that proctor and fill in answers or provide extended time or whatever have you under illegal circumstances. So just bug, man.
And the crazy thing is, like you said before, Rick Singer knew his customers. He knew how they thought. He knew how they moved. It's like he studied the psychology of these people.
Facts. He studied he studied the psychology of the pathologically rich. Word up, word up. And just the fact that I'm trying to find where's this part, because he said like
as you go through with that, man. Like I'm gonna name off some of the colleges that were involved in this, man. High prestigious colleges, man. High prestige with high. All right, so you got Yale University, Georgetown, Stanford University, University of Southern California, University of California, Los Angeles, the University of Texas, Wake Forest University, man. Like,
you said Yale?
Yeah, I say Yale as well. I believe even Harvard was a part of this too, right?
Harvard. There was a study that was done on Harvard that showed, because a lot of this has to do with, again, the donorship too. It's not just them paying Rick was Singer?
Yeah, Rick Singer, yep.
It's also the whole donorship and donation process to colleges. The research has showed, like, if you apply to Harvard with no donations, you have like not even like a 4 or 5% chance of getting in, right? No matter what your accolades or what your your receipts look like, right? But if you are donating money, that jumps by like 20-30%. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
I mean, since you brought that up, I'm gonna interject with that, like, with your boy Jared Kushner, man. Jared Kushner, who works with who is the son-in-law of Donald Trump. I mean, the husband of Ivanka Trump, right? Ivanka Trump, right? Well, you talking about donations. So the situation is, the rich usually donate to these colleges, to basically to get tax write-offs and other benefits as well. Right. And that could be a funny aspect to the story, because some people feel like the donations are being used to help these kids get in, as a way to get in without obstacles. You know what I mean? Without dealing with any of the hazards of a test or the application process, etc. Man.
And here's what the affidavit had to say about that, right? In terms of what Singer said in his affidavit. The whole world is scamming the system. These are his words. And I got them because I have a ton of kids who have extended time, talking about in terms of taking the ACT and the SAT, and they shouldn't get extended time. Now, again, for the context of all us educators out there, extended time is this equity move even though standardized tests, we can have a big debate about how equitable standardized testing is. It's not, but at the end of the day, like, there are things in it that try to make it a little easier for some of our kids who have special needs to take, right? Which is extended time, and it can be such a struggle for even our public school kids to get the extended time on their standardized tests, to find the right rooms, right, to make sure there's no distractions, to, you know, it's a whole big to do, right? But here we have kids, or I can't blame the kids. Like, the kids are a product of their society.
No, some of the kids did not know that the parents were doing this. Exactly. I read about that. Some of the kids did not know, but some of the kids didn't know. So yeah, I mean, but they're underage, right? Yep. They have no say so. So I mean, but like, so leaving the kids out, like, the fact that so many of them still get the benefit of extended time when they don't even need it. They have no special needs. Right now, you don't have special needs, and you get special attention. That's bugs. You're not inclusive.
Yeah, right. He's stupid. So I highly suggest anybody to check out the affidavits, because you also get to see how the actual methodologies, aside from the testing, like, for example, like the doctoring of pictures, like photoshopping pictures to make it seem like students are student athletes. You know what I'm saying? So actual student athletes who could have had a shot at going to one of these prestigious institutions don't, because, you know, they had doctored images of kids playing sports that they don't play, you know, in their high school or college or anywhere, right? There was one in the affidavits that talked about how a parent tried to set up his kid to look like he was playing water polo. So he had him in the pool holding a ball or something like that, right? And then Singer, like, you know, let him know, like, he's way too high up in the water to make it believable. So the next day, the parent took another picture, a better looking picture, more believable picture of the kid. And again, like, there are also like straight up like photoshopping of faces on top of other bodies playing water polo and other sports. Like, it's nuts.
Telling me they're finessing athletic credentials?
Yes.
As well?
Yes, indeed. And there's only, what, 10 coaches that got caught up about, like,
10 like coaches got caught up, but some like, there's a part of the article that I read that talked about some coaches getting suspended or fired, you know what I mean? So like, until the situation clears out, basically, you know what I mean? That's what's going on.
So all right, cool. That's a piece of it I didn't know. So
some people is getting caught up. I'm not sure.
Just not in the same way of getting indicted or whatever. Okay,
I mean, not getting charged up for that.
But so I bring that up to say this, though. Again, in his own words, he said, like, this. First of all, this company's been open for like, what, 7-8 years, but he said he's been doing this for like 24. In his own words, in the court records or whatever. So in the FBI's records. You mean to tell me only 50 people would be getting indicted for something like this that happened for 24 years, at minimum 7? So I think that the FBI might be picking these 50, but the problem is bigger than these 50. You know what I'm saying? Because they're already trying to throw it off on these 2-3 celebrities, even though it's a list of 50 people. So I wouldn't have surprised me if it was way deeper. And also, no deans got caught up in the indictment. Maybe one administrator, but like largely it was like nobody that's really in charge is getting caught up right now.
Like, I read like 3 people that organized scams got caught up. 2 people that worked with ACT and SAT examinations. Right. 1 exam proctor. 1 college administrator. That, I mean, got caught up in this. Yeah. Like, so I mean, that's some of the lists right there that I got. But
indeed,
this entire situation is raising eyebrows towards how Jared Kushner got into college after his father, Charles Kushner, donated $2.5 million to the university in 1998 when
he was going through. He was getting it right before he got admitted.
Right before he got admitted. I mean, and I think Jared Kushner got admitted in maybe 1999 or something like that.
Okay.
Or 2000, around one of those 2 dates or years. I mean, so all of this entire situation is bringing up weariness, you know what I mean?
Right.
People was worrying about what's going on, and it seems like there's going to be a larger investigation.
I mean, I hope that it continues, you know, and I hope that the FBI just keeps everybody accountable, because again, no administration, or is it only one administration, no deans, nothing is on this list. So,
and Jared Kushner went to Harvard University.
And he went to Harvard, you know what I'm saying? And again, Harvard is also a university that frequently prides itself on social justice and making progressive moves. So this is an interesting thing. So with that being said, man, we got to hop on to the next part of the syllabus. You know what I'm saying? We could probably talk about this for the full 30, but let's talk about actually some righteous behavior with these students protesting the climate change, man. So this was, I believe, March 15th.
Yes.
One of the largest protests regarding climate change that has happened, that was led by students.
Yeah, man.
Right? Starting in, I believe, Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
With an old girl,
either last summer or 2 summers ago. I believe it was like last summer. Yep, last summer in Sweden. There was a young female student by the name of Greta Thunberg, and from Sweden, Sweden. She basically inspired a lot of students to protest against climate change, man. You know what I mean?
All over the world. It's like something like 112 countries, right?
Ooh,
March 15th, and it was like United Kingdom, Austria, and went outside of Europe. Obviously, it was 112 countries. Got to Uganda, got to Kenya, came to the States, right?
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? United States.
Well, during this week, I guess we're gonna focus on the protests that happened across the United States, within the intercontinental United States. And that was headed by a 12-year-old student by the name of Haven Coleman of Denver. She basically obviously was inspired by Greta Thunberg, and she wanted to find out if there was others that were activists or wanted to be a part of such a situation. You know what I mean? And she actually co-founded and she co-founded and co-directs the project that these protests are taking. The name of this project,
was it the New Green Deal or was it Green?
No. Okay. U.S. Youth Climate Strike.
Okay.
So that's the name of this entire situation.
Okay.
U.S. Youth Climate Strike. And she co-founded this and co-directs this along with Isra Hersey, 16 of Minneapolis. This is the daughter of Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman.
I didn't even know she was old enough to have a daughter that was active like that. That's what's up.
Yeah. And also another student by the name of Alexandria Villasenor, 13 of New York City.
Word. That's what's up. Why I love doing this story after we just talked about the whole college scandal is we see all these young people behaving justly and righteously, even if it means like possibly dealing with backlash. Because interestingly enough, who are they dealing with backlash from? Politicians, right? I think it was the UK Prime Minister that said it was a waste of teacher time for them to be leaving because the lesson plans that the teachers worked so hard on weren't being used because they decided to take this one day to try to address issues that the adults aren't addressing right now, like myself included. I don't do enough study and enough activism regarding climate change. I'll be the first to say that, you know what I'm saying? And it's something I try to be careful about in terms of like what I do and how much am I littering, how much gases am I using, how much plastic am I using. I try to be considerate in terms of the envirement.
Try to recycle.
Exactly.
Try to recycle properly. Like people don't. Real quick, man. I want to continue with the story, but real quick, people do not visit the waste management website and see how to recycle. You guys don't do that.
Right.
No, y'all just throwing stuff in the recycling bin, and when it gets to the place, people mad at you like, oh my god, these dudes do it like
sorting.
You gotta go through a sorting and stuff like that. Like I'll be mad all day. Like yo, these dudes don't be doing this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. No,
regardless,
that's a fact. We all can be a lot more conscientious about how we are. Treating our environment, and these kids are pushing us forward. You know what I'm saying? And if any adult that says like it's a waste of time for you to take agency for your own demonstration of learning outside of the school building, they're not working in your best interest. I'll just say that, just because the fact that they did the knowledge on climate change. They did the knowledge about organizing, you know what I'm saying, and executing, right? Is something so frequently beyond what school has to offer that you should not be getting salty about them missing.
Yeah, not at all. Like this is social action at its finest, man.
This is what education is supposed to be.
You're applying the knowledge you have learned.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, so this U.S. Youth Climate Strike, thousands of students partook in it. Happening through all of the states of the United States, all 50 United States,
yeah, 100 cities.
100 cities, right? 50 states, over 400 protests happened because of, like, you know what I mean, because of this girl in Sweden, you know what I mean?
Yet
now
very little coverage.
Yeah, not that much.
We had to look it up. We had to look it
now,
up.
What are these students asking for? What are they?
So off the top of my head, I know that they are asking the support of like the Green New Deal.
Yep, the Green New Deal to be passed through Congress.
And here's the thing again, this was so beautiful about it. Them leaving the school for a day was not a statement saying they devalue school. One of the things that they want to do is push for a curriculum to be implemented for kindergarten through 8th grade to learn about climate change. Like, if the adults aren't doing it and they're doing the knowledge and they got to push y'all to do it, again, why the hate unless you don't want to change? Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the Green New Deal is basically about country's transition to carbon-free energy.
Yes.
As well as remaking the economy. Well, spreading the wealth in the economy as well.
Right.
I mean, so that's part of the Green New Deal.
Indeed. For sure. So we got like 4 minutes. We might have to give some props to Meek.
Killing me, B.
I mean, we killing each other right now. We only got 26 minutes. But we got to give a quick shout to Meek, man. You know what I'm saying? Talking about climate change, making it hot out in Philly right now. You know what I'm saying? Changing the climate, the political climate right now. He's politically climate changing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The street rapper, he's still a street rapper, but the street rapper that also became a criminal justice reformer. You know what I'm saying? Now you had to correct my knowledge on it. So how about you lead us off in terms of like what's really good with Meek Mill Day and Meek Mill weekend? So
last week on March 14th, the state senator Sharif Street had announced that day, March 14th, will be considered as Meek Mill Day, as well as along with 15th through the 17th, or 15th and 17th as Meek Mill weekend.
So that following weekend will be Meek Mill weekend.
Yep. So Meek Mill Day will be March 14th. The following consecutive days will be Meek Mill weekend.
Word up
to the 17th of March.
Salute to Meek, man.
I mean, this occurred at City Hall, and he was being honored. The reason why it's Meek Mill Day for March 14th is because he was being honored for his artistic contributions as well as criminal justice reform commitment that he has recently partook in.
And I always saw that in Meek, you know what I'm saying? Like even when he was his first mixtape days with like the Dream Chasers mixtapes, like I was like, he has this kind of like this Pac-ish element about him. Yeah. Maybe not as like, because Pac was very political, but also very like, the street or whatever. And I feel like Meek doesn't always have the political piece in his music, but in terms of the energy he brings, I saw that leadership energy that could be grown and coached. And that's what it kind of seems like Jay-Z is doing, because Jay-Z threw him in that was it Reform Alliance?
Yeah, okay.
Because that's like the organization that they're kind of doing a lot of this criminal justice reform stuff, where they're like trying to pay people's bail and legal fees who get disproportionately caught up in the court system for like minor drug offenses or things that are non-violent drug offenses. Exactly.
Non-violent, man. That's the key word right there.
Indeed. So I think I just wish him the best, and I hope that the work keeps going and growing. You know what I'm saying? And his knowledge keeps growing, and it just makes you think, what would have happened if he got all this support in terms of what to focus on, what to think about? You know what I'm saying? That affects us all. If he was like 10.
Yeah, like
20.
I guarantee you it would have been a different Meek early.
Yeah, or maybe like still, because I would never want somebody to change because there are amazing things about him. You know what I'm saying? The assertiveness, the the courage, you know what I'm saying, the ability to adapt to his surroundings, all that could and should stay there that he got from Philly. But like, imagine just like how much more enriched he would have, you know what I'm saying. But you know, this timing is everything. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
man, it takes time. I mean, it takes time to smell your roses, get those roses presented to you, so you can smell them out here. You know what I mean? So
that's a fact, man. But yo, man, we are nearing time, so we gotta send shout outs to everybody who's been listening.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Who's been listening on Facebook Live? We ain't doing Facebook Live right now, but it's all good.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say,
you know what I'm saying. But you know, and anybody who's listening for the first time, this is Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip hop, all culture. Catch us every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2 on Wayo FM 104.3, or you can catch us online on Mixcloud or Facebook or BushidoGarvey.com. Peace and progress.
Peace, yeah.